You're listening to
Catholic Sprouts,
the daily podcast for Catholic kids that strives to plant seeds of faith. Hey there, Sprouts. Today is Wednesday, April 14th, 2021. All week, we have been hearing stories from Meg Hunter-Kilmer of saints from around the world. We have another incredible story for you today. Here you go.
St. Peter Wu Guosheng from China lived from 1768 to 1814. His memorial is November 7th. St. Peter Wu Guosheng was not a quiet man. He was the kind of guy who shouts with delight when you walk into a room and drags you over to meet all his friends. He was loud and effusive and very excited about quite a lot of things. So when Guosheng was working at the hotel he and his wife owned, and he met a missionary for the first time, he wanted to know just absolutely everything about Jesus. And when he heard how God made the world for love of us and became a man to save us from our sin, Guosheng thought this was just the most amazing thing. He began to grab people off the street, dragging them into the hotel to sit down and hear all about the gospel. It was lovely, but it was also very dangerous. Christians were being persecuted in China, and Guosheng needed to learn to be a little more careful. Besides, Father Luo, the missionary, wasn't sure about this man who was so excited so quickly. Would he get bored with the faith and move on after he had been baptized? Father Luo decided Guosheng needed to wait a while before he could become Catholic. Guosheng had always been loud and passionate and outgoing, and it was good that he was that way. God had made him that way, and he loved Guosheng exactly as he was. But Guosheng began to realize that he needed to be a little more cautious, a little gentler. He learned when to shout and when to speak more calmly, when to talk on and on and on, and when to listen. Pretty soon, he was ready to be baptized. After that, Guosheng was a force, but not an overwhelming one anymore. He preached the gospel and turned his hotel into a Christian community and led almost 600 people to Jesus. Eventually, the authorities caught up with him. But even in prison, Guosheng's voice could be heard, leading the others in prayer and preaching the gospel to those who didn't know Jesus yet. St. Peter Wu Guosheng became the first native Chinese martyr, not by running from his big personality, but by handing himself over to Jesus to be big and loud and sometimes gentle and quiet for Jesus.
That's it for Catholic Sprouts today. We'll be back tomorrow, but until then, continue to grow in your faith and truly sprout into the beautiful creation that God created you to be.
You've just listened to a story from Saints Around the World, a new book featuring 100 saint stories from nearly 70 different countries. My name is Meg Hunter-Kilmer, and I'm the author of this book, in which you'll read fascinating stories and see beautiful pictures of saints with all kinds of struggles and talents and passions and disabilities from every kind of family, from all different cultures. I hope that getting to know these saints will help you love Jesus better and know how very, very much he loves you. You can learn more about this book and audiobook at www.saintsaroundtheworld.com.
This show is a production of the Spoke Street Media Podcast Network. For more great podcasts, visit spokestreet.com.